Hey, everybody, and welcome to season 2, episode 2 of Your Spiritual Best Friend. I am your host, Josh Sanchez. And man, I hope everyone is doing good. I am recording this January 13th, Saturday. So it's looking like I'm going to stick to the Saturday frequency for every podcast. So just make sure you guys mark your calendars, whether you're listening on YouTube or on the audio version. So just be aware for Saturday podcast. So, the reason why I love recording on Saturdays is because I also get to do astrology chart readings as well. So after this, I will be at Newark. So if anyone is around the area and would love to get their astrology chart read, feel free to stop by. Again, I'm here to help you guys at the end of the day. But before we get started, I wanted to get started with a rundown of our topics for today. So this podcast is going to be broken down into 3 segments. The first segment, we're going to start our conversation off with a conversation on values. I found this really awesome reference for you guys to check out. It's 10 universal values and all that fun stuff. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the new moon in Capricorn, how it happened middle of this week. So it happened January 10th. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to end with our weekly tarot card readings. So that's a little bit about our rundown for today's podcast. We're going to have some fun. And like always, guys, please like and subscribe to the podcast overall if you are a fan. Please, your subscriptions would really help boost this podcast overall. But first, I wanted to start the podcast and start the segment with a famous quote by Albert Einstein. I know some people, they love him, some people, they don't. But one of his quotes that really stuck out to me was, strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. The reason why I started this segment with that is because values, right? What is a value? Right? Like, what are certain things, right? What are things that we crave? What are some things that drive us, right? It's been an endless conversation for a very long time. Like, what gives us meaning? Like the famous question, like, who am I? Right? This is a question that I would say people spend years trying to discover, maybe even a lifetime trying to discover, who am I? And values are a really good way to get you guys to think, okay, this is who I am. This is what I strive for, right? So I figured we can start the segment with that quote for Albert Einstein: strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value, right? So in this next reference, we're going to talk about, this one's also a really good one. I started doing some groups on it, and I found that there is 10 universal values. And these can be, let's say, these are values that I would say people tend to click to universally, right? So no matter what culture, no matter what background, we typically go over these 10 universal values. And again, these are just some ideas to get you guys going with discovering and answering that question, who am I? So that was Albert Einstein's quote. Wanted to start off with that. And the reference I'm using today is Psychology Today. So this is a very good 10 universal values. And I want you guys to think of values as like headlines of your story, right? So if you guys ever looked at a newspaper or an article, right, you see the big headline in bold. That is what a value is. Meanwhile, the goals that you set are, or the milestones you achieve, these are like your little subheadings, your little like short stories, to eventually they all combine into the big headline, which is the thing that you value, right? So if you are stuck in life, you're trying to figure out, what the heck do I want to do? What's my sense of direction? Going back to what are things that you value is a really good starting point for you guys to eventually develop a plan to help you guys get and take the next steps, right? So without further ado, we are going to start with the 10 universal values. And again, this is by Dr. Greg Hencrease, again, Theory on Knowledge. So this talks a lot about like conformity, all that stuff. And again, my reference is Psychology Today, and I'll make sure to put the reference in the show description. So, one of the things that I would say we value is power, right? So, whether that is social status and prestige, control or dominance over people and resources, right? So, that could be something that a person values, right? So, you can look at it in many different directions, right? So, social status. Social status does not mean like we have to be the most popular, but it's more of I want to get myself in a direction that is valuing me socially, giving me that social fulfillment, right? So as I read these, you can look at how people have taken this value of power for good and also value of power for bad. So that's something right there. So that's the first one, power. The second one is achievement. So, achievement, this involves personal success through demonstrating competence according to societal standards, right? So, this is your sense of like, okay, I'm going to school for achievement. I'm going to get my degree for an achievement, right? So, whatever your society expects of you, right? This is you getting that, right? So, that positive reinforcement. So, getting yourself in a direction of achievement, right? So that's the second one. The third one is hendoism. So this is pleasure or sensacious gratification for oneself, right? So hendoism, right? So this is this idea again of pleasure. So doing things that are making you feel good. That could be something that you value, right? The next one we have is stimulation. So excitement, novelty, and challenge in life. So this is where, we might feel stuck or we might feel bored. So stimulation is something that you value. Maybe you value mental stimulation. Maybe you value physical stimulation, right? The whole point of it though is to get that feeling of excitement, that adrenaline, right? That challenge that we need. All right, next one, self-direction. Direction. So this is independence, thought and action. So you are in control of the way how you think, you feel, your decision making, right? So there's a lot of people that strive for that. The next one, universalism. So understanding, appreciation, tolerance, and protection for the welfare of all people and for nature. So this value gets down to for more of my people that want to help people, that want to make a bigger impact in society. So again, like this idea of helping and protecting and helping people that are in need. So that is universalism. Next one we got is benevolence benevolence, sorry. So this is preservation, enhancement of the welfare of people. So this is again this idea of persevering, right? Bouncing back, right? So teaching people, helping people, right? So, and this is also frequent personal contact. So these are my people that love to be social, right? So they're putting themselves out there. They want to, create a bigger sense of community. Next value we have is tradition. So this is respect, commitment, and acceptance of the customs and ideas of the traditional culture or even religion, right? So this is something where that could be something of value, right? So sticking to the traditions. We all have a couple of family traditions or traditions that have been brought to us that we like. We all have some that we don't like, right? But that is also another type of value. And the last two, because I feel like these two go hand in hand. You have conformity, right? So restraint of actions and impulses. So again, this is all again, you are trying to, I would say, understand and respect the social expectation or norms wherever you guys are from. And this last one is security. So safety, harmony, stability of society, relationships, right? So these are the 10 universal values. So we got power, achievement, hendoism, stimulation, self-direction, universalism, benevolence, tradition, conformity, and security. So the reason why I started off with the 10 universal is for each of these, there is some questions that you guys can really start to think and answer about, right? So when it comes to if you want to, like, what do I value? Like, what do I want to do? Right? You start with, okay, what do I envision myself doing? What do I value to my core? What do I want to accomplish? Right? If you want social status, okay, that is my headline, right? Like so and so reaches social status, this expectation, right? The difference is you're not trying to create a goal. Goals help you get to your values. However, once you achieve a goal, you can cross off a goal. A value is more of like a lifestyle, right? Like this is more of you can't cross it out. You're continuously trying to achieve this value, right? So that's the difference between values and goals. Goals you can cross off once you achieve them. Values are much deeper. It takes more deeper reflection. And there's a type of therapy called ACT. So it's attachment commitment therapy, right? So ACT, it's meant to challenge, right? I know it's mainly meant for attachment. However, there is a value section for ACT where it comes into, it's not attachment, my fault. It's acceptance. My fault. I was way off. I don't know what. I'm mixing my groups up. So it's acceptance commitment therapy. My fault, guys. I was like, man. So ignore what I said beforehand. So it's acceptance commitment therapy. And this idea of acceptance, right? So accepting who we are, accepting the stressors that are in our life, anything that is involving that avenue, acceptance is what ACT is meant to accomplish. So one of the ACT exercises that I've been doing with some of my clients is challenging their avoidance, but also too like trying to figure out, okay, we're avoiding something, right? What is it that we truly value, right? So that way we can get into a sense of direction. So that way we're not avoiding, we feel more comfortable because we're doing things that give us value, right? So that does take a lot of deep reflection. And if you guys would like to know more or get a little more in depth, I will attach a reference to this podcast so that way you guys can check that out. But yeah, so that's the whole idea on values. I just want to get you guys thinking, right? Like, all right, what is the headline on my life? What is it that I want to achieve? Or what is it that I want? Do I want to help people? Am I a social person? Do I need to be social with people, right? Am I someone that is motivated by recognition, power, right? Do I want to lead, right? So these are all questions for you guys just to think about. And once you figure out that, then the next step is, okay, let's create some goals. Let's acknowledge some challenges, some barriers that are currently in your life that might prevent you. But the whole point is now you have a direction versus when you did not take that step, we don't have a direction. We don't know what we're doing, right? So that is our conversation on values. And again, I apologize for the ACT. It's actually acceptance commitment therapy. I got the A's all mixed up. But yeah, so that is our first topic on values. So now we are going to transition to our next topic. We're going to talk a little bit about the Capricorn new moon, and we're also going to do our weekly tarot card readings as well. So before we get started, though, I just want to give a shout out to my crystal shop for being a sponsor for this podcast. You know, whether they admit it or not, they have really helped me expand my spiritual practice. So if you guys, again, just check out and are interested in anything in terms of chart readings, tarot, anything like that, just click on the link in the show description, and I'm here to help you guys out. In May, I will have my master's in clinical counseling, so I will start to add more credentials. And once I pass my NCE and start my hours, that'll be another thing as well. So eventually my goal is to be an LPC. And once I reach that, man, oh man, you guys, I will be taking clients from, it depends on the state, but you know what I mean? It gets complicated. But the whole point is Find Your Harmony is a crystal shop. It's awesome. It really helped me expand my spiritual practice. I've met a bunch of new clients, met a bunch of awesome new people. So definitely check them out. They're in Newark, Delaware. Again, it's Find Your Harmony. And, you know, we're here to help each other out at the end of the day. And this podcast is meant to help you guys as well. So now we're going to get into our second topic, Capricorn new moon. So this happened on Wednesday and Thursday of this week, depending on where you are in the world. So Capricorn energy in a nutshell, right? Capricorns is a cardinal energy. So cardinal meaning the beginning of a season, right? So with Capricorns, right, they're very driven. Their natural ruler is Saturn. So with this concept of hard work, making a plan, logic, analytical, right? Getting stuff done, executing, problem solving. This is all Capricorn energy. Capricorns are also bigger picture type of thinkers, similar to Aquarius is, but since they are an earth energy, they do it more by creating a plan to get the material things, the physical things done, right? So Capricorns are your go-getters. And this new moon could be an opportunity for you guys to just think about, okay, long-term picture here, long-term plan. What I'm doing making sense? So, some affirmations for you guys to say to yourself either now or over the past week you might have thought this is I am responsible. Success is within my reach. Loyalty is an asset and I have endurance, right? Because Capricorns have this ability to bounce back and to be very resilient when they're on, right? So, some opportunities for you guys just to think about during this new moon. Think about your concept of achievement, right? Toward the work you do. Are you getting rewarded? Has there been rewards in regards to your achievement? This is a really good moon to reflect, right? I know in my tarot card reading, I mentioned that achievement is coming your way, right? So this is what this new moon is telling you guys. Think about the work you've done. This is a good chance and a good opportunity for you guys to be proud of the work you've put in. You know, it's not easy getting up all day. And I know in the fall, we had a very tough stretch. We had 7 planets in retrograde at one point. So it's been a very difficult and challenging fall. And now that it's the new year, it's a great opportunity to just let's sit, let's think, let's reflect on our values, let's reflect on our achievements, right? So that's an opportunity for you guys to think about. So some self-care rituals for you guys, if you haven't done so already, doing some exercises, some stretching exercises, stretch your body. Notice how your physical body feels as you are moving, especially if you guys work in an office job or a typical day-to-day, there's parts of your body that we're not working on. So stretching helps challenge that. So that is that one. And another one to do is create a little budget for yourself. Capricorns, whether they want to admit it or not, are very materialistic driven, right? It's an earth energy. So finances are going to fuel Capricorn energy in general, right? So working on a financial budget can help you guys prepare you guys for the upcoming spring and the rest of the winter, right? So those are some self-care rituals, affirmations, and opportunities. We're going to wrap up this segment with just some reflection questions for you guys. So if you guys are my journalers or people that love to write or people that love to think, these are just some questions for you guys to just give you a sense of direction for this new moon. So the first question, what does success mean to me? So tying back to values, right? And that Albert Einstein quote, right? We're not trying to strive for success. We're trying to strive for our value, what drives us, right? So what does that look like for you? What does that look like? The second question, what would I like my legacy to be? So again, future-oriented, bigger picture. What do I want to accomplish in this world? And the third one, to what and whom am I loyal to? Loyalty is a very big thing, right? And there's times where we have to question if the people or the things that we are being loyal to are giving us that value and stand to our values, right? So those are the 3 questions for this new moon podcast. So again, what does success mean to me? What would I like my legacy to be? And to whom and what am I loyal to? So that is the new moon reflection questions and all that stuff. Now, depending on what placements you have in your chart, this new moon is going to hit it in those places. So since you know how earlier I started this topic with a new moon is a cardinal energy. So if you have cardinal energy in your chart, you are going to feel this moon more intensely than other placements because again, it's a cardinal energy. And to add, we are still in Capricorn season. So it is a double cardinal energy. So if you are a Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, and Aries, you guys have this new moon might affect you guys in certain ways. And if you look at the 12 zodiac signs, right, you have 4 cardinal, 4 fixed, and 4 mutual. So that's how you look at it. And this goes, and you don't have to be any of those 4 as your sun sign. You might have a Cancer Venus. You might have a Capricorn moon. Like myself, I have a Capricorn moon. So I'm going to feel that placement more than other placements. So that's just how you guys look at it. So I just wanted to wrap up that conversation with that. So you don't have to be just have Capricorn energy to feel this energy. It is cardinal energy. And all the signs are affected. It's just trying to figure out where. And you know that answer better than I do. All right. So that is our Capricorn new moon segment. I hope you guys enjoyed that again. And if you guys want more astrology content, please don't be a stranger. Reach out to the podcast as well. I know last week I talked about the lunar nodes, and I had a bunch of people tell me that they loved it. So we can continue to talk about the lunar nodes as well, because again, it's meant to help you. It's meant to push you, right? So that is the new moon segment. We are going to wrap up this podcast with our weekly tarot card reading. So again, guys, before I get started, I made sure I cleared and made sure all my cards are facing the same way. So I just want to thank my ancestors and thank everyone that is listening to this podcast or has listened to this podcast before. You guys have really helped me with regards to my values and what I strive for. So hopefully, like this podcast is giving you a sense of direction too. I really mean that. So my question for everybody for this podcast is, what energy should me and my podcast listeners expect for the upcoming week? So right now it's Saturday, January 13th. So what should we expect on Martin Luther King Jr. week, January 15th and on? So I'm going to do some shuffling. They want to talk today. So we got 1, 2, and yeah, they want to talk today. I'm going to do one more shuffle. They are like, hey, talk to me. 3. All right. So that is that. And let's see what we got here. So the first card we have the 7 of Pentacles. And I'll show you guys what the card means as well. Get a little ASMR action here as I move the book. All right. 7 of Pentacles, planning, rewards and result, long-term success. The 7 of Pentacles represents the not-so-distant days of our ancestors when everything was grown and made by hand. Before large-scale farming and manufacturing existed, people toiled in and day out. They worked in difficult and sometimes dangerous conditions to provide for their families. For most, the goal was to make it to the harvest season. During harvest season, the crops could finally be gathered and sold. All the planning and hard work manifested into fruits and vegetables, rewards, right? What once were small seeds in the ground become coins in their pockets. Although few of us actually work in agricultural business, the message of the 7 of Pentacles is the same. Long-term success is near if you're willing to put in the work. So right now, again, this is an opportunity to reflect on the work and the journey you're on. How many more steps do you need to take? Are your goals aligned with your values, right? And if you are, long-term success is coming your way. So a very positive and uplifting card. The next one we have, and again, I'm going to put these in chronological order at the end of the reading. The next one we have is the 2 of Swords. And I'll show you guys real quick. Here is the 7 of Pentacles, and the tarot deck I use is the Modern Way Tarot. So it's a guy standing and he's holding something with 7 pentacles on the ground. The second card is the 2 of Swords. As you guys can see, someone is sitting and they have their blades like an X. Looks really cool. And let's get started with the 2 of Swords. All right, so 2 of Swords. Stalemate, coming to crossroads, time to think. The 2 of Swords represents an internal or external battle that won't be easy to overcome. In fact, it'll take a great deal of effort on your part to eliminate. You might be feeling stuck or unsure of which way to turn. If you are in this situation, you should bide your time and prepare yourself emotionally for the next step. Have a little peace. Do not take action and contemplate before taking your next steps or moving in any direction. Any direction or decision. Your opponent, whether it be a person or an internal struggle, will not go out without a fight. Now is the time to recharge your batteries so you have the energy you need to prevail. So, in chronological order, the Two of Swords is before the Seven of Pentacles, right? So I would say this could be something we are feeling either in the beginning of the week, like there is a battle or crossroads coming into play, and we have to prepare ourselves for that. So whatever battle it is, internal, it could be anxiety, it could be mental health challenges, or external, it could be a person, a job, a thing, right? That's affecting you. Weigh your options and take the time to reflect before taking action. And similar, right? That Seven of Pentacles adding to the Two of Swords is saying, look, if you guys think long term, align your values with your goals, with your values, long-term success is near. So it's going to be okay. And the last card we have is the 10 of Cups. And as you guys see, it's like a family, they're celebrating, there's cups. So this one looks like it might be towards the end of the week, what we might expect. All right, so I found the cups and let's do 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups, happiness, family, harmony. Maybe it was the 10 of Cups that Stevie Wonder spoke when he said, "There's a ribbon in the sky for our love." Indeed, this ribbon-filled card is a good omen for whoever chooses it, as it symbolizes harmony, peace, and positivity. The card denotes strong family bonds and long-awaited reunions. It embodies love, togetherness, fortune, and all good things in life. If you have been separated from family or close friends, the 10 of Cups indicates you will soon have a reunion with them. This may be in the form of a wedding, anniversary, or another festive event. The 10 of Cups also assures you that you will be rewarded for any hard work you have done. Overall, you will be feeling secure and confident and content in life. You will have worked hard to get to this point. Enjoy it. So similar to last week, again, this is just a time period of accepting all the rewards that have been thrown at you. Being happy with the work you've put in, whether that's with family, whether that's with friends. A celebration is near, and that's going to be towards the end of the week. So, who knows what that celebration looks like, So overall, I would say the reading is very positive. It starts with we might have these two conflicting forces, right? These two sides of us that are arguing, right? But as we tap into our values and what we figure out, like our long term, what do we envision ourselves doing long term and success wise, we will be rewarded for that. We will be whatever journey you guys are on, rewards are coming your way, right? Whether that is through financial, whether that is through emotional rewards, right? So emotional maturity is something that you might not receive an external reward, but you feel it internally. And celebrations towards the end of the week. So those are our three cards. So 2 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Cups. So that is our weekly reading for you guys for this week. And I hope you guys overall enjoyed all three segments today. So just to recap, we started first with values, and we talked about the 10 universal values. I will also attach a reference. It might have to wait a week, though, because it's going to take some time to download. But I will also attach a reference of values so you can go through each of the 10 values and you just answer questions and you start to figure out, okay, like this is what I value more than others. So that way it gives you that headline in your life that we need. So then we started with that. Then we talked about the Capricorn new moon and just energy from it, reflection questions, all of that stuff for you guys. And then we wrapped up with our weekly tarot reading. But I just want to say, guys, thank you guys for another wonderful podcast. Again, I do have some interviews in store. I've been reaching out to people like crazy. We're going to figure out some dates, whether that's in the rest of January or even February. But guests will start to come on this podcast again. And if you guys are interested in recording with me, getting your chart read, tarot read, anything like that, don't be a stranger. Reach out. The link is in the podcast description so you guys can check it out, schedule a reading with me, or even schedule an interview with me. That would be awesome. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I hope you guys stay safe. And this is Josh officially signing off.